All right, everyone. So I'm just going to go through the whole tournament just in the shots that I've made. So I'm going to be going through replays just to go through this, just to make it as quick and concise as possible. So this is hole number one, shot number one on the drive. Here we do a 15% adjustment with full topspin. Now I'm on a level 8 here for the EM, but full topspin, one left spin. 15% adjustment is going to give us a 3.7. And you can see the blue ring actually lined up on that right on the ref. You push back up, and then we're going to just do barely slight overpower here. So I actually, in this shot, did a little bit too much overpower than I normally do, which with a great shot put me a little bit too close to the rough. I'd be a little scared on what would have happened if I would have hit a perfect shot on this. So definitely a little bit less of that overpower, unless you're going in and you have a level 7, level 6 on it, then you can use that same amount of OP and not risk hitting the ref. So shot number 2 here, this as well is going to be a 15% downhill adjustment, just like the drive. And so the reason why that I believe on this one we're adjusting 15% is because I'm aiming straight at the hole, and the 15% is what makes up for the wind push that's going to happen on the ball guide. So here I'm going to do 2 backspin, no side spin, and you see when you push up on this, the ball guide's going to straighten out, and you aim it straight at the hole about one square short. So I'm going to make an adjustment at 70% of my slider here because I'm closer to max, which is going to be a 3.3 adjustment. Come down, hit it, and we're going to end up really nicely into the hole for an eagle on this one. I believe on this one, yes, I came in a little bit on the right side. The reason why is I believe that I tried to aim a little right side of the hole, as well as instead of the 3.3 adjustment at the 70% slider of the club, I actually did like a 3.4 adjustment, I believe, because I was thinking the wind push. You don't need to do that. Aim directly at the hole, 15% adjustment, dead on. And that on the next round actually allowed me to drop it. Now we're going to go into hole number 2 here, which on this one, I played let me pull up my notes. Hole number 2, I'm playing a 20% adjustment minus 0.2 rings. That's not total rings, but 0.2. So you do half a bar backspin, 3 left spin. You're going to play on the right side. I'm going to push up to where you can see it's going to aim directly at the hole, but a little short here. And so I'm going to play 20% at mid distance, which is going to be 5.4 minus 2. So I'm playing 5.2 on this adjustment. So like I said, that's mid adjustment with 20% downhill, and you're doing minus 0.2 on that adjustment. We're going to go ahead and hit the perfect here, and this should come in real nicely. Great speed coming up right into the hole. Great hole in one. It was a pretty easy adjustment. It's been very consistent in this. The only times that I've missed, which I believe you'll see later on in this tournament, is when I hit a great right. So hole number 3, we're going to go into our drive here. So I'm using EM as well as sniper. We're going to play this first one at 10% downhill. Now I tried something out in this round which I don't like. I tried using a kingmaker, full topspin, and then max as much as I can right spin with the 10% adjustment downhill. The reason why I actually went back to playing the katana instead is because this, I was hoping it would give me a real nice easy minimum adjustment for sniper. What this did to me is this actually put me at a max distance, or maybe like a 90% distance Goliath rough bump, which, like I said in the notes on our clan, I do not like doing Goliath rough bumps with a level 7. The ball guide just does not come up where I want it to ever. So you're actually going to see that here for my shot 2. Because I was playing with the Kingmaker, it put me at a point that I had to use the Goliath. And you'll see me even struggling here, trying to do the spin, trying to find that funnel, coming in way too far forward and not being able to find this location. You can see here, I'm looking for the funnel, cannot find it, and don't even have enough top spin to find that funnel at the proper place. So my recommendation, what you'll see next time that I do this, and I believe I drop it later on, play with the katana. Instead of max top spin on that drive, you're going to do full right spin and only 5 top spin. Now, granted, this is 5 top spin on a EM level 8. So you might be able to get away with a 5, maybe 5.5 top spin if you're working with an EM level 7 on this. You can see I just come in nowhere close to the hole, way too hot in this. So at all costs, play with the sniper on this rough bump. We're going to skip ahead now to hole number 4. I forgot to add that last shot on hole number 3, that rough bump, is at a 0% elevation. 0%. You'll see it later on when I actually sink that hole, but let's go on to hole number 4. So hole number 4, I actually dialed it in because of this next shot that you're going to see. I'm using a Kingmaker, Goliath level 7. I'm playing at a 15% downhill adjustment at max adjustment. I'm doing all top spin but 2, and then max left spin here. So what I realized, everything looks great as far as what I did. Level 7, just slightly short of the hole, barely. You're going to go ahead and do your, you're going to do a 15% downhill adjustment at max. And what allowed me, what I realized during this is I need to aim just right of the hole, which you'll see later on in the tournament. Just right of the hole, because this is going to come up now. Great speed, maybe a little bit slow for what I like. But you'll see just coming in left of that hole. I'm assuming because of the wind push. Maybe you can correct this if you do a 20% adjustment, but later on I am right of the hole with that 15% downhill and nail it. So let's move on. We're going to go to hole number 5. Hole number 5, I'm actually playing with a power 4 ball and the big topper 5. I think you can do this almost with any level big topper on this. But for the first shot, I am playing a 10% downhill, first and second shot, 10% downhill. I'm going to be setting up right side using the 10% adjust and slight overpower here. Now, I made a mistake on Sharknado's accounts both times that I did not make that mistake with VTA, and I dropped it both times with VTA. So here, I'm using the right amount of overpower just above that bottom ring. So coming in really nicely, realizing this person's either emoji bombing me, or at the same time I have a replay coming on. So I turned off emojis for this one. But basically here for the second shot, you will see mistake number 1 with Sharknado. And I'll walk you through the mistake that I made so that hopefully you won't make it either. Here what I'm doing, I'm playing a minimum adjustment, 10% downhill, and I do not know why I'm playing on this fringe. So every other time I play 4 backspin and play in front of this the fringe. So 4 to 5 backspin dependent upon. And I just aim it literally right hitting the ground before the hole, 10%. I make my adjustment. But because of the fringe here that I'm playing on, I get this really dead bounce. And you'll see it here, hit my perfect shot, get super anxious to be able to drop this one like I did every time on VTA. But you can see I actually came up short of the fringe and then came up with that weird dead bounce. So play past the fringe on the green, 4 to 5 backspin on that thorn, 10% downhill, really easy drop for that. With that, just to say, so usually on that hole, what I'll do is I'll play slightly left of center of hole for the ball guideline, and then I'll play a 10% with just a small click, maybe like 0.1 over adjustment on the 10% downhill, maybe a little bit less. Like I'm really trying to make sure that if there's any wind push, it's still going to hit dead center of pin. So let's go up hole number. What hole are we on right now? We are on hole number 6. Hole number 6, let's go on to the first shot. So again, we're going to be playing with the big topper. I'm going to be using a power 4 ball. That is just so that I don't have to do too much overpower. It's going to be 10% downhill, max top spin, 1 right spin. And you're actually going to see I'm going to use a little bit of right curl here as well, because what I found is that when it pushes too far to the left on that fairway, it puts me to where I have to overpower the rough bump just slightly, which I do not like. So make your adjustment, then push back up to max. Shoot it, a little bit of overpower, that slight right curl. Hope to hit perfect, especially with the big topper. It always is so scary when you don't hit perfect for the big topper because the accuracy is horrendous. And you'll see this little line here on the fairway right there. We just passed that first line that starts to go downhill. My goal is to hit as close to that line as possible because that puts me at max adjustment for my second shot here for this rough bump. Which here you're going to see we're going to play a 20% downhill rough bump. So 20% downhill. Yep, I'm just maybe 90% club, maybe a little bit less. I'm going to be aiming right at the hole. My goal here is basically to pull back about 3/4 of a ring, 3/4 of a ring, and then make my 20% downhill max adjustment or 90% slider adjustment. It's like 0.01 off from each other. The reason why I'm pulling back is on this hole, you tend to, with the downward, going from a higher elevation to the lower elevation in the draw, you're going to hit closer to that front. So you can see how close I came to the front of it. Now on here where I made my mistake, I actually ended up losing my mind. I don't know how I had this. I had it on a 25% downhill, and then I did full max adjustment. I should have done 20% downhill and 90% adjustment on that. So we're going to go into the next hole. This is hole number 7. All right. So I'm going to be playing on the left side of the first fairway on this. It makes it really easy. 1-to-1 adjustment. I'm going to do 2.5 backspin. Here, I made a mistake. I did 2.5 right spin instead of 2 right spin. It should be 2.5 backspin, 2 right spin. This puts you aimed way too close to the hole. And see how I'm like my front ring is just close to the rough on that, and you want it to be a little bit short. But you can see, I don't know if you saw that, the ball guide is aimed dead center at the hole. You need it to be aimed to the left of the hole. So you make your 1-to-1 adjustment with your Kingmaker, On here, it's going to be great speed, but we are going to come up right because I did 2.5 right spin instead of the 2 right spin. You'll see it come in, great speed, just to the right. Later, you'll see I actually put it on a 2.5 backspin, 2 right spin, and we drop it. So here we are, we're going to do hole number 8, drive on that. All right, so on shot 1 as well as shot 2, it's going to be a 10% downhill adjustment. I'm using the power 4 just so that I don't have to overpower because I have hit the sand as well as the rough on this shot. This one, for some reason, always makes me nervous. I push up to see how you can see the ball guide slightly move when I'm pushing up. I want to see where it's going to land. So you make your 10% downhill adjustment, push back up, even though it's just slightly, but that does help. Then you're going to take your shot. And so as you can see with the power 4, there's no need to hit any OP for fear of hitting great right or great left on this. You absolutely can still do this with a Titan would be great because then you can push up a little bit more after you make your adjustment. You can also do it with a Kingmaker. I'm assuming with a Katana, if you're using a level 2 ball, you are going to have to use more overpower to make sure that you get over that, especially if you are using the big topper. So here you're going to see a thorn shot. We are also using 10% downhill adjustment. I believe I'm trying to find out exactly where I am. I forget on this one, I believe I played a mid adjustment, but I'm doing 2 backspin. I usually do 2 right spin. I only did like 2.5 and a click, so maybe 2 3/4 or 1 3/4 right spin. Usually I do 2 and 2. I aim it right at the hole. I'm going to make a 10% downhill adjustment plus a hair. Just a hair extra than the 10% downhill adjustment because of that wind push. I found it's more consistent, at least for me, playing to the left of there's a glitch right there on the fairway that you either have to choose, do you go left of hole and shoot right of the hole, or do you go right of the hole and shoot to the left towards the hole? I found it to be more consistent on the left. I think Tommy I saw was playing it on the right. Choose whatever works best for you. I like to do spin against the wind rather than spin with the wind because I feel like then the wind's going to take it even further and you have to make a little extra adjustment for that. So like I said, 10% downhill with just like a 0.1 extra on top of that for that wind push. So here we're going to play hole number 9. See if we can actually get it loaded up. Yes, there we go. Hole number 9. This hole scares me. I hate this drive, guys. 0% elevation. I'm playing with a power 4, spin 3, a POC level 3. I'm getting it up here to where I'm playing the red ring just about half into the rough. I'm going to make my adjustment, push back up, and then I'm going to be doing overpower as well as full right curl on this. So you see me make my adjustment. I'm going to push back up to max overpower, full right curl. Here, what I wrote down in my notes, I did not do, and I should have done it. Great right terrifies me as well in this shot, getting way too close to that rough for my comfort. But in my notes, I wrote orange overpower, meaning getting that arrow up to the orange. I am horrible at judging how much overpower actually to do. I know there's a whole ring system where you see the arrow and how many rings is it going up on it. But I wrote down orange. Don't know why, but it works for me. So I barely cleared that rough on that one, but it's fine because it still leaves us with being able to hit this rough bump. Here I'm playing, so the drive was 0%. Here I'm playing 25% downhill adjustment. Yep, I think I played this one about, I think it was 85, 90% club on this for my adjustment. And I don't believe I dropped this one. We'll have to find out together. So yes, you're playing 25% downhill. Make your adjustment. Oh yes, I think I came up short on this one and made a rookie mistake where on shots like this, yes, you have a little bit of tailwind, but you can see my ball guide was coming up definitely short of the hole, and you can see how far back I hit on that rough. So great adjustment. If I had a little bit more speed, it wouldn't have curled there at the end. Potentially could have dropped that one, which we'll see, I believe, at the end of this one. So we're going to quickly zip through here, guys, because that was all 9 holes. So I'm just going to go ahead and speed through the rest of this tournament for the sake of the video, because I definitely dropped some ones on the back 9 that I did not drop on the front 9. And it'll be a good refresher for us all. This is not my shot. Now, both started with an S, that's why. Perfect. So quick refresh as we blitz through this. 15% downhill on the drive, 15% downhill on the second shot, full topspin. Supposed to do 1 left spin. I think I'd correct that here. What am I doing? It's gotta be left spin. Come on. There you go. Full topspin, 1 left spin. Make your adjustment, push back up, slight overpower. And we literally hit almost the identical same spot as last time, right before that rough. So I'm going to go on to the second shot because I was able to drop this one. So second shot, again, playing about 70% club. You're going to do 2 backspin, no side spin. Make sure that you're about a square and a half short of the hole, but dead onto the hole, and an exact 15% adjustment here at 70% club, or whatever club distance. I found it to be between VTA and Shark. It's usually somewhere between 70 to 75% club adjustment for this, but we're able to make this shot pretty accurate. I believe this one was almost close to center of the hole. So we can drop it real nice. There it is. Hit that pin. All right. So this is hole number 2 on the back 9. This one, again, is going to be a 20% downhill adjustment minus 0.2. Half backspin, 3 left spin. Pull back to where you're closer to the rough up front of this side, about half in. But you can see I want to come up slightly short and dead center of the pin. Only reason why I didn't drop this one, like I said before, you're going to go ahead and see me hit the great right, and it's going to come up exactly 1 great right of the hole, which cost me the hole-in-one on this one. Yep, there's that great right. And there's my sad, unhappy emoji. And like I said, exactly 1 great right of the hole. Perfect speed to be able to sink that. So I'm hoping for 2 hole-in-ones on that one on the weekend round. Perfect. So hole number 3, as a refresher again, we are doing 10% downhill on the drive and 5 topspin, max right spin. I do it right this time with the Katana, not with the Titan. You're going to make your adjustment. Do not push back up like we've done on many of these other holes, because you will hit the rough if you push back up, unless you're working maybe with a EM level 6, potentially because of the lack of distance on it. But I'm playing with EM8s on both of these accounts. No overpower. You're just going to hit that perfect shot. Lines you up very, very nicely for the stolen shot from Fenzel. Thank you so much to him to be able to show us, as well as with Tommy, with this awesome little funnel that we have on this rough bump, which makes it really nice. So here I'm playing 11% downhill. Did I say 11? 0%. Yes, 0% downhill. Interested to see my spin on what this was, because I actually haven't looked at what I usually end up spinning. I usually just adjust to the hole so that I can find the funnel first, where it's going to land, and then try to adjust it to the hole so that it's directly through the hole. Should be right there. Yeah, all right. And then on this one, interestingly enough, I think I did this is hole number 3. I think I did a 16% club on that slider because I was pretty close to minimum distance. 16%, barely squeezed it in for the albatross. So 0% downhill. I checked and saw I was really close to minimum distance, so I did a 15, 16% slider. Still was able to make it through. All right, here we go. Hole number 4 of the back 9. We are coming in with the hole-in-one. And this is where I was able to dial it in from hole number 4 on the front half. So all but 2 topspin, full left spin. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to adjust just right of the hole. You can see it is almost exactly just 1 hole right of the hole. You're going to make your 20% downhill max adjustment. And pray that you hit perfect. Because you're not coming anywhere close with the Goliath if you don't hit perfect, unless your adjustment was significantly off. And if you hit great and you made it, just be thankful your adjustment was wrong. All right. So this is hole number 5 on the back 9. You're going to come in and I make mistake number 2. So this is also what not to do. So I'm going to go through, I'm making the exact same drive. Drive went great, but I put just too much overpower on it this time, to where what this is going to end up putting me into is I am coming too close to the hole to make a minimum thorn adjustment, having to put on way too much backspin. So don't know what I was thinking. I've never played this much overpower on this hole. I'm always playing just slight overpower. And so you come in, when I looked at my yardage notes on this, freaked out a little bit, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is great. 393, I'm going to come in for an easy chip into the hole, until I realized that I packed in my, which club did I have? Well, we'll find out which club I have. Whichever one, it was wrong. Oh, you don't get to see what I have. Rapier? Is that how you pronounce it, guys? Rapier? Not sure. But basically, I had that, and so my ball guide was horrendous on it. I think I made this mistake as well as in the opening round. So I'm having to put a significant more amount of backspin. You can see how far away I am from the fringe. I like to usually play right in front of the fringe. So way too much backspin, and I kind of lose my mind here to where I'm getting nervous that it's going to come up short of the hole because the amount of backspin and slight headwind. So you can see me put on a little bit over power. So that is mistake number 2, where you can see I'm not even coming up anywhere close. Just jumped right over it. I probably wouldn't have put on the overpower. Might have been able to drop that one as well. But let's move on. All right, so this is hole number 6 of the back 9. And I always like to phrase it that way, hole number 6 of the back 9, 7 of the back 9. I don't know why, because in my mind, then when I'm saying 1, 2, 3, 4 through 9, I'm literally picturing the hole in my head. The second that I start to go into double digits, I start forgetting what the hole looks like, what I'm going into. It's a weird thing that I do. So just like this, slight overpower, slight right curl, playing 10% downhill. That will keep us just on the right side, but without the worry of hitting the sand or the rough on the left side. You can see that line that we passed just a second ago in the fairway. That's what I'm aiming for, but on both times got a little bit too aggressive in my overpower to be able to hit that line. Shot number 2. When did I drop this one? Because I thought I dropped it on this hole. I must have dropped it in VT and on VTA local. Here, let's see what adjustment I do. So I'm just short of max. So I know I played about 90% club with a 20% downhill elevation. And then you see I'm going to pull back my ring to 3/4 ring. And then I'm going to make my adjustment. And I think, what did I do? It looks like I did a max adjustment. If I did a max adjustment on that, that means I'm going to be coming up right of the hole. Yep, so I did a max adjustment instead of a 85, 90% adjustment, which cost me that albatross. All right, hole number 7, hole in 1. So, like I said, we are playing a 1-to-1 adjustment, 2.5 backspin, 2 right spin. So I corrected that in my notes from 2.5 right spin. And you can see on this one, it's coming up exactly how I want it. Short and just to the left of the hole. I kind of play around with it. Top ring right at the rough line. I guess that'd be not the very top of the ring, but you know what, you can see it. So you make your 1-to-1 adjustment, 5.8 with the Kingmaker ball. And hope you hit perfect. Always terrified of not hitting perfects on hole 3s, because that is a guarantee 1 less shot off of your score, and drop it in there. So again, just for repeat, you have 2.5 backspin, 2 right spin, you're pulling back so that you're just at the rough, and then from there you are doing a 1-to-1 adjustment. Okay, here we go again. I was able to drop this one as well. So you can do full top spin, 1 left spin at a 10% downhill. You're going to make your adjustment. We'll first push up to see what the ball guide is going to do. If you're ever making your adjustment and then pushing up, always push up first past 100% to see, is there a weird spot on the fairway that's going to make your ball guide go a different direction, more right, more left, especially on these holes with so much sand and so much rough so close to each other. So you can see we come in real nicely, Nowhere close to the sand on the left, nowhere close to the rough on the right. That was a 10% downhill elevation. Then you go into our second shot, which is also a 10% downhill elevation. Here we are going to do a 2 backspin, 2 right spin, just to make it simple. You can see right in the middle of the screen, I'm setting it just left of, there's like a darker line. Where's that set up? It's right about where my, what's that, the blue ring is on the right, and now I'm just crossing it. There's like that darker ring in that spot on this fairway is just a weird glitch that sends your ball guide going in different directions. So you want to make sure to play to the left or to the right of it, whatever suits you. But I'm going to be doing a 10% adjustment, of course, finding out where I am in my club. I think on this one, I have to watch it again. I think I also did a mid adjustment, but I might have done a different adjustment on this, but pretty consistent with dropping this one. 10% downhill, 2 backspin, 2 right spin. Find how far you are in your club adjustment. Are you exactly at 50%? Are you at 60, 40, wherever that goes? And the last hole of the tournament. Interestingly, kind of made a weird note about this. So on this one, I clear and have a great drive. It's exactly what I've been wanting to do this entire tournament for this shot. So red, half in the rough, you make your adjustment, you push up. I don't know why I didn't do a full turn back to do the push up. Make your overpower towards that kind of darker yellowish ring or yellowish arrow, clear the rough, and then come through. So, why did he do those emojis? That was weird. Oh, that was from his drive. He hit the rough. They're carrying over into mine. So I'm thinking, awesome, I cleared the rough. That's what I've been wanting to do the whole time. And then you can see here, I have a horrible opportunity for a rough bump where I'm now playing with my Goliath, which I hate playing with the Goliath rough bumps with a level 7. So I'm not sure what to do on the drive on this one, because I know when I did it on the front 9, I hit the rough and that allowed and rolled out of it, and that allowed me to play with the sniper, but I don't want to plan for that because, yeah, I really don't want to plan to hit the rough every time, because if I do that, the thought of hitting the rough and sticking in it terrifies me for this hole, and completely take away the chance for the albatross and potentially even for the eagle if you really mess it up. But here I'm doing the 25% downhill adjustment. Come close, which is nice. I have not dialed in the Goliath on that hole. So there you guys have it. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. Love you all. Rough Bump crew for life. Have a great day, guys. Talk to you soon.